Dayfacto podcast is privileged to have been founded on Wadjuk Noongar land.
We pay our respects to the traditional owners of this land and express our sincere gratitude for their ongoing guidance as we work in their community.
Welcome back to another episode of Dayfacto, where we discuss our 9 to 5 kind of relationships in another podcast literally no one asked for. I'm Nicolette.
I'm Kate.
And we're again excited to be back.
Yes, we are. And we're also here with Lainey, our lovely producer. Big shout out to Lainey. And today's sponsors, da-da-da-da, Dippity Bix.
Dippity Bix.
You can find these in the cracker section at Keels.
And I tell you, with all these sponsors and these food ideas, you can put together a nice little Chrissy hamper.
Little Chrissy gift box.
Your $20 gifts. Pop them in.
Great idea.
Fantastic idea.
All right, on today's episode, we're actually mostly talking about my suspected narcissistic ex-boyfriend. So we talk about some traits, we talk about some like low-key red flags, and then I basically just list off all the traits that I noticed and how I noticed it, and then Nicolette steps in at the end and tells you what you should do if your friend is with a narcissist.
If you're on the outside of this relationship.
Yes.
And of course, as always, it is obviously great chat, but obviously a little bit more serious, although, you know, we're just funny people, so of course there's going to be some humour tied in there.
Yeah, and we do like to lighten the load.
We do. We don't ever have serious conversations, as bad as serious as it gets, but, you know, it's still a good chat. Important. Let's get into it. All right, Kate, let's kick us off. How was your weekend?
Yeah, pretty tame. I went out, had a cocktail night with my friends.
That's nice.
Ran into hot guy from high school reunion.
Oh,
yes.
Well, the stars are aligning.
I know. I was like, oh my God, girls, that's the hot guy with the glow up from the high school reunion. And then my friend throws me under the bus and goes, are you Dan from her podcast? I was like, oh.
No.
But no, he did message me. He did want to listen to the podcast.
Oh, so maybe she didn't throw you under this. Maybe she actually, you know, planted the seed.
Yes. Well, I think I actually planted the seed in the podcast how many episodes ago? So, you know what? Shout out to myself.
Post
for doing
past Kate.
Getting the work done, planting the seed early.
Well done.
So that happened. What else happened? Not much.
Not much?
But I was reminded of a story, one of my personal stories. I don't know if you know this, Nicolette, this story. I went out for my friend's birthday probably a year ago now, literally a year ago. ABBA themed. So I'm wearing these like high-waisted glittery pants,
Cute.
right?
Are they ones I've borrowed before?
Yes.
So. Yeah.
They're Nina's, my sister-in-law's.
Thanks,
great
Nina.
pants. Thanks, Nina. We go out, we're at like in the city somewhere, some big dance place, right? Cool. I go to the toilet, pull my pants down, pee, go to pull my pants up. My knickers, they're already up.
So you peed with your knickers up and you didn't realise? Wow.
Because they were like a seamless G-banger. So they're practically a shoestring. Didn't even realise. I didn't know what. And
after a few cocktails.
It's practically all water that's coming out. Like, I'm so dehydrated. Like, actually, that doesn't make any sense. But it was practically clear. You know, I think when you've been drinking and
you're hydrated.
There's so much liquid. So basically, just little pat dry, pulled them up, kept rallying, got laid that night as well. So thank you. Got laid with pissy pants.
Well, you do take the pants off while you're getting laid. So
exactly.
Did you forget to take them off during that time as well? That's so bad, isn't it?
Okay, Nicolette, I want to show you a picture, and I want you to describe the picture. This is a picture, a screenshot I took from a dating app. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just have a look. Tell me what you see.
Ooh. Oh. Okay. Am I describing the picture?
Your eyes are drawn straight to the centre of the picture.
They are. With the pecker in his pants.
Yep. Describe it.
Okay, so very muscular man. Oh, is he really? Yeah, he's pretty ripped. Tattoos just on the tits and the arms, like sort of like a crop top tattoo, if you will. Not on the abs, because you wouldn't want to take the attention away from the abs. Mm-hmm. So you don't tattoo the abs. Grey sport shorts, say no more, with what looks like a heart erection.
A very solid penis.
But it doesn't look...
But it
doesn't... Oh, okay. At first I thought it was coming straight out.
It's like off. It's off on an angle.
When you zoom in, it's definitely going off on an angle.
But so he's made it so the rest of his shorts are so tight around the thigh that it perfectly cups his penis.
Well, he knows what he's doing. That's for sure. That's no accidental picture.
But I am no fool, Nicolette.
No.
I am no fool. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice,
Shame on me.
shame on me. I scrolled through to his other pictures. Not the same.
Not the same.
That penis size is not replicated in the other photos.
All right. Maybe you got a bit of Facetune on there. A little bit of editing.
But it's so much, hey. It's so like you don't even look at the rest of him. You just look at you're immediately drawn to his penis.
And I will say though, if this is his house, because it's a bathroom mirror selfie, props to the nicely hanging white towels. You don't see that very often in men's bathroom, which makes me think it's probably a hotel.
That looks like a hotel. That looks like a hotel.
So, I mean, I would give 10 points for the clean bathroom, but I think it's a hotel.
Negative 10 points for all the red flags.
Yes.
It's so colourful.
What you got from the bathroom, you lose from yourself. But,
yeah, but that's the end of my weekend. It's pretty tame.
all right. Well, sounds pretty good.
Thank you.
Mine was pretty busy again. Honestly, I don't know what's going on lately. Going at 3 nights in a weekend, and I'm not, I'm too old for this. So,
actually, Nicolette, just bring it down.
You're
going wild.
Too much.
I'm concerned about your behaviour.
I know. You'd think I'm a single gal out on the list. No, but too busy, right? And then I said, there's a night. All right, I'm going to have real Luco. Not going to drink much this weekend. Friday night, had a few drinks, of course. Saturday night, had a few drinks. Sunday, that's it. I'm not doing anything.
You said I need some. I saw one message that said, no, I'm not coming to drinks that were planned.
Yep.
Few messages deep. All right. I'll be there in 10 minutes.
All right, I'll come.
Twist my arm.
However, I did drive. So, that was my, I had to do it. Otherwise. Anyway, had a spicy marg Sunday. Fucking love a spicy marg. Drink of the summer. If you haven't had one, go do yourself a favour. Go try a spicy marg.
Yeah.
So great.
We used to do Margarita Fridays at my old house where I lived with my ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
The view, that was lovely.
The view, that was nice. Shame about the boyfriend though. What happened to me though, Kate? Funny story. So, got a new vibrator in the mail, right?
What brand?
I actually can't remember the brand. Anyway, trial it. You're in the human. It's good to be in tune with your needs. So, got a vibrator. Comes in the box.
Just good to be in tune with your needs. What to notice when you're horny and then have a wank.
What do we call it? A wank? I don't know. That sounds a bit derogatory.
You always pick me up on the way I pronounce masturbate. Or what do I say? Masturbate.
You say masturbate. I mean, technically, I thought, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, I say masturbate. You say masturbate. Potato. Tomato. Anyway, got it. It comes, it's good because the Australia Post doesn't know, right? Because very discreet packaging.
Obviously. Because
on the outside.
You need to be discreet about sex because it's so taboo.
It is so taboo. No one's having sex, so it's good. On the front porch, all good. No one stole it, so that's nice. Took it inside, took it out of the box. The actual box, so the wrapping is all very brown paper, whatever.
Discreet.
Yeah, discreet, that's the word I was looking for. Take it out of the box. The box, on the other hand, not discreet. So the whole picture is on the front of the box. Massive picture on the front. So you could not miss it.
What product you're getting.
You know what product that is. It's there. It's bright purple. It's on the box. I was like, all right. Took it out of the box. Oh, cool. Wonder how it goes. Maybe we should give it a try. Oh, where's the plug? Oh, it's not plug. It's battery operated. Who has 3 AAA batteries laying around? Anyone?
No, because all the batteries in your remote's are AA.
And you know what does have 3 AAA batteries though? My air conditioning remote. Thank you. Take that out, swap it in. Yeah. Anyway, chuck the rubbish out. I just left it in the recycling bin pile just next to the door. Later on, this way, I go to take out my recycling and it's bin day, so the bin's not at the front door. It's on the street. I've already taken the bin.
You've got to walk the dildo
box. My packet of recycling. I'm walking down. Throws most of it in. Only for a gust of wind to pick up the one box that I don't want blowing down the street. Me, filled with my hands full, the vibrator box blowing across the footpath. Who happens to walk past? One of my neighbours. Helping hand neighbour goes to pick up the box. Passes it to me and we go and pass it and I throw it in the bin. And then they walk inside and I just pretend that I'm still looking at the bin because I don't want to walk up with them. So I'm just tucking it in hoping that they didn't have a good look at the box when everyone knows they would have seen it.
Yeah, 100%.
So now, I've got...
They know you're a naked, horny neighbour.
Now they're to think I was actually naked in the window, so I wanted them to look. They're going to think that. They're going to think I'm throwing out my vibrator box.
Woo, check out the wind's got it. Oh, sorry, my vibrator box.
Wait, grab the vibrator box. Stop. So that was fun.
I actually have a bit of a similar-ish story. When I was living up in Carnarvon, and my ex wasn't living there yet, he ordered me a vibrator, but I lived on the same block as the people that owned the house I was living in, and then there was their house, and they had 2 young boys. And so they would always get my mail and bring it over to me.
That's nice.
And so the box came, and they were like, and I knew what it was, and they were like, oh my God, what's in the box? Can we see it?
Shaking it.
Can we see you open the box? Like, what's in it? They were so excited. And in the moment, I was like, oh, can't do this. Cannot open this box in front of them.
Can't.
And I was like,
It's a dog toy.
So I said, Dan's bought it for me. He wants me to wait. So I'm going to put it aside. And then when he comes up to see me, we're going to open it together. Right?
That's nice.
Thinking they'll forget about it.
No.
They did not forget. Dan comes up to see me. As soon as Dan's gone. So what? Can we see what he got? What did he got? This is like 2 months later. I was like,
no.
Let it go, kids. Let the vibrator box
Kids
go.
don't fucking forget either. They remember everything.
Yep.
They tell you. They know. Anyway, you know what else got into this weekend? Love Island.
Yes, we did start watching Love Island.
So, you know, all you fans out there, Love Island AU started the other night. Do I have my own 9 Now account? No, so I just use Kate's still. So that's good.
Yeah,
even though it's free.
It's a free account, but she has to use mine because she can't be fucked making an account.
And then Kate's already watched half the episode. I'm like, I had to skip all the way back. She's ruining where I'm up to because it keeps going to where she's up to. Really rude, Kate. You know what? It's like, get your own account, that's all.
No, but there's some very early red flags for a couple of the guys.
Always.
The mullet guy?
Green flag. Green flag.
Green flags. But is his name Connor? He's got the shaved head, real estate agent. Number 1, red flag agent. Number 1, real estate agent.
Yep.
He's just giving real, like, controlling. Manipulative vibes.
Yep, 100%. And the thing is, he thinks that he's like God's gift.
And
he's not God's country.
He's not.
There's only one God's country.
It's me. It's me.
But he reckons he's like, you know, women love him. Like, and also, just for the record, I've only watched up to episode 3. So at time of recording, this is just the first 2-3 episodes I've watched. We all know reality TV is not always real.
True.
But what we are being displayed right now is what we are commenting on.
Yep. And some real in-depth commentary on this one.
You know, you can feel the brain cells dying as you watch Love Island, but it's fine. I'm into it.
Yeah, no. He's just giving me, like, really manipulative. Like, the girl that I think he's partnered with, when as soon as she comes back from a date she's been on with someone else, he gives her the, I can be this emotional guy spiel, and gives her this spiel. So she's had like an input from another guy, and then she's giving this input from this guy again, and she's like, well, what the fuck do I do?
Yeah, and he was like, as well, she was talking to another guy, not doing anything wrong, and then he went and like asked another girl if he would pick her for the next recoupling weird thing. If you watch Love Island, you know what I'm talking about. And then she came back and was like, that's kind of mean. Like, we're together and you just told another girl you'd pick her. And he was like, I love it when you're angry, you know, like blah, blah, blah. So she's trying to tell him how she feels, and he's like not making a joke about it, not taking her seriously, and then like twisting it. And then she's like, I think he's a bit manipulative. And then by the end of the conversation, she was like giggling and laughing with him again.
Yes. And also in like the first episode, they had like, a 20-second conversation, and then he just leaned in and started macking out with her full on. Oh, I've never used that word, macking on.
Love it. Bringing it back.
I was like, babe, that is full on. If someone tried to do that to me, I'd honestly tell them to fuck off.
Yeah.
Don't, consent, babe. Consent.
And also, actually, another thing I noticed.
And another thing.
You get a go. She goes, one of the other chicks was like talking to one of the guys in bed, and then she comes up and goes, and then it was so cute. Like, he totally asked if he could kiss me. And I was like, it's 2022, babe. We're not giving guys satisfaction for the bare minimum.
No.
You know?
No.
So someone should ask if they want to kiss you.
Yeah.
It's just, you know.
It's called this little thing called consent.
Exactly. And then it makes you think, like, the ladies' man, the mullet guy, you know, all the ladies flocking him. What separates him from the guy who thinks he's the ladies' man?
He's actually a good guy.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Doesn't try to be this like, ladies love me, guys are intimidated by me. He's just like a cool, nice guy. Yeah. And respect. Biggest thing.
Yeah. Great chat. All right.
All right, Kate, let's kick us off. What is this story called?
Called I Dated a Narcissist.
And a little bit more of a serious chat.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit serious. We'll try and pop some humour in there.
Well, humour is the best coping mechanism. So.
It is very healthy coping mechanism.
That's what I would say. With the trauma, just squash it down.
Squash it right
down.
down.
Squash it down, make jokes, never relive it.
And the thing is, and then it'll all be fine.
Exactly. And then the thing is, you just keep squashing all on top of each other. It's so packed, you never have to unpack it.
No, it's too tightly packed.
Exactly.
Can't unpack things that are too tightly
Don't you
packed.
hate that? Yeah.
This one is probably a bit of a de facto relationship. Oh, I don't know how long we were together for long enough for that.
No.
But definitely a 9 to 5 kind of relationship because we were in an actual relationship.
Yeah. An official.
It was official. Not for long though. Not for very long.
Yeah, exactly. So, when did you meet this guy?
We met in, I would say, October or November last year. So not long ago.
Mm-hmm.
We met on a Bumble, a dating app. We had actually previously matched on a dating app years and years ago. And then so he had me on Instagram still, and then he dated a chick for like 2 or 3 years. They broke up. We matched again. Then we like went on a few dates, and I'd say we like pretty instantly connected. Hey,
Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah.
yeah,
Just from the stories and how quickly it moved.
yeah. And then like 2 months later, we were in a relationship. A month after that, we decided I was going to move into his place. 2 months later, we broke up. So quick turnaround time. Quick turnaround time.
Yeah.
Life's too short. Keep it moving. Get it going.
Gotta keep it interesting.
Yeah.
Keep it interesting.
Yeah. That's
So-
sort of how it started.
What about like when you first met him though? Like, because obviously this story does not end
Well,
well. But when you first met them,
yeah.
good,
Dan.
bad, any signs?
No signs.
So all green flags.
All green flags. I now look, at the time I thought it was all green flags, but I can now look back and go, so many red flags in there.
Yeah.
And almost none were green.
But not even, you know, an amber. Probably a red.
All red. But at the time, I thought they were green. He was very much like the person that I wanted and needed at that point in my life. He was like spot on
Ticked
with
all the
everything.
boxes.
Ticked all the boxes, which I guess I now know why he ticked all of the boxes, because I can now tell that he was just trying to be the person that I wanted.
Love bombing.
Love bombing. Yes. He was 100% love bombing me, but not in your typical form of love bombing.
Okay.
Because like, I guess when people think about love bombing, they think of like buying you lots of gifts and like taking you on holidays.
Yeah.
And like, it wasn't like that. It was more love bombing in the sense of like, he knew exactly what I wanted. And so he delivered on those.
And needed.
Yeah. For example, like texting me every day, like, hey, how's your day going? Calling me every night, like booking these nice dinners. Like, it was love bombing in that sense.
Also being really like opening and welcoming, like come stay at mine,
Yeah.
hang out here.
Your friends can stay over.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what I wanted. Like, and wanting to get to know my family and stuff. They're always the qualities that I wanted with someone, and he delivered strong on those.
Interesting.
I guess before we get into all of it, I just want to say, I know this is called I Dated a Narcissist. He's not diagnosed narcissist, so I can't really. This is just an assumption
These are
we've
just
made.
some traits that we think he displayed.
Yes.
However, you know, he's probably out here thinking he has none of them, so whatever.
He wouldn't know. If we called him a narcissist, he'd completely deny it. If he got diagnosed as a narcissist, he'd still deny it. But you know what? If it looks like a duck and if it quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. And how I came to realising that he's 99% probably a narcissist is I had all these experiences and we went through this really fucking horrible breakup. And like, I guess for a long time, well, not a long time, like a month afterwards, I guess I was trying to like link his behaviour with a label to almost make myself feel better. Like, oh, he did this because of this, right? And I was like, but in my head, I was like, oh, you're just doing that. You're trying to come up with a reason for his behaviour. You want to label him something. So I didn't really label him. And then I had 2 weird experiences. The first one, I was at my beautician having a facial.
Well, got to keep the youthful look.
I had to get hot, you know. I was single, I had to get hot somehow. Have a facial, treat yourself.
So this is after you've broken up.
After we've broken up, about a month later. And she was telling me she had just been through a breakup. And she was like, and he was a narcissist. And she started describing all of these behaviours that he was doing and her interactions with him. And she was like, he did this and it's actually called this. And she's like, these are all the things I've learned. I didn't know all this. And as I was laying there listening to her, I was like, holy fuck, you were describing every single aspect of why we broke up, of our relationship, of his behaviour.
But, babe, are we dating the same person?
I honestly was like, what's his name? What's this guy's name?
Where does he live? Well, we're both living there at the same time
And
on
that's-
rotation.
That's when I first was like, oh, okay, maybe he actually is a narcissist. And then the plot thickens. Then I saw a psychic.
Voodoo.
Voodoo, baby. And to be fair, like, I don't super believe in this stuff, but this psychic was spot on about so many aspects of my life.
It's weird when that happens.
Like, she doesn't know me. All I did was text her to book in an appointment. She didn't know me from bar of soap. She pinpointed that we were going to Bali in December. She pinpointed that how many weddings I have coming up, where the weddings were, that I'm a bridesmaid for one, what colour dress we're wearing.
Whoa, weird.
It's like spot on, right? And so she reads pictures and she was like, can I see a picture of your ex-boyfriend? So she knew he was my ex, and that's it. I showed her a picture of the two of us and she looked at it. She like leant forward. She looked at it for like 2 seconds, sat back in her chair and went, he's a narcissist.
Weird.
Yeah. And then she again described our relationship, like him as a person, our relationship as it was, and the breakup to a T.
Wow.
So that's why I'm 99% sure he actually is a narcissist.
Don't you reckon psychics are always like a little bit woo-woo? Like anyone on the outside's like, oh yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But then like there's no way to explain it. If they get shit right. I mean,
She got so much right.
plus we saw that guy get hypnotized that time, and
We did see someone
a
get
whole
hypnotised.
bunch of people, and it was wild. So I'm like, you really, and we knew this person, and they didn't know the hypnotist. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
Don't knock it till
Exactly.
you try it.
Exactly.
So what are some of the early warning signs then that you might have overlooked?
Okay, so early days, I remember he was talking about why him and his ex broke up.
Ooh. So like what, calling his ex crazy or something?
She was crazy.
Oh, that's always a bit of a
She was
red
crazy,
flag.
and she cheated on him, and so she was crazy, and they shared a dog together, and, you know, she would never let him have the dog, and she took all this stuff from him, and da-da-da-da.
Side
She was
note,
crazy.
Can I just also put it out there? Don't fucking get a dog with someone unless like you're married. I honestly reckon unless you've been together 5+ years married, don't do it. Every story I've ever heard never ends well.
Yep.
Or wait till you have kids or fucking something to keep you closer together.
Yep. So that was the first one. She was crazy. She hated him, right? Then he also had a friend of his move in with him very briefly, and he dated her sister. And I remember him saying that her sister would not be very happy with her living with him because they dated, and, well, she's crazy.
Well,
She's crazy.
always her. Never,
Always her. So
never
all
him.
the ex-girlfriends crazy.
All of them.
All of them. All were made out to not be that nice people.
Well, there, is an underlying
Yeah.
denominator here.
Yeah. And so I guess that was probably one of the things that I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting. But then he said, the ex-girlfriend cheated on him. And I was like, okay, well, yeah, shit happens. And also sometimes people are crazy, as
They
I
are.
now know.
Now you're like, fuck, now I can't say it to any future partner.
I said it to someone. He was like, what happened with your ex-boyfriend? And then I said it to him and I was like, and I know that makes me look like a red flag, but actually I think he might have a personality disorder.
And no hate to personality disorders,
No.
but there are things you can do, to fix that.
Yes. I'm also hopeful that he doesn't sue me over this. Little bit worried that he might
Over the
come
podcast?
and he might come at me.
Nah. How does he know you're talking about him? You could be talking about anyone.
It could be so many people called Daniel out there that are narcissists.
Danny boy.
Danny boy. Okay, but I've actually written down I guess a bunch of things that are typically narcissist and I now know how he was portraying those behaviours. But actually, maybe before we start, Nicolette, do you just want to maybe describe some typical traits of a narcissist?
Sure can. And I'm actually an expert on this now after Kate's
Breakup.
breakup. We looked at it. We did a lot of deep diving.
Yeah.
So, and a large sense of self-importance, so superiority or a sense of entitlement, which
He honestly thinks he's the most important human being on this planet. And he is. He is.
well, no one's busier or more important. So there you go. Preoccupation with fantasies of unlimited success, power, brilliance, beauty, or ideal love.
He did think he was the wealthiest man in the world as well.
A sense of entitlement. That's fucking huge with narcissists, isn't it?
Yep.
Or a belief that they're special or unique and can only be understood by other high status people. So only wanting to hang out with high earners, big people, doesn't really give time to the small people out there.
Yep. And also like narcissists typically have like a huge lack of empathy.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
I will describe an exact situation where I felt that.
And lastly, like arrogance.
Yep.
And arrogance towards attitudes, behaviours, things like that, which is huge as well.
Yep.
So if we think we're describing you, if you think we're describing you,
maybe
check yourself.
Check yourself, mate. Okay, so some of the things that kind of I now know were typically narcissistic behaviour. Typically, I'm going to say, but obviously narcissists can be very different, appear in very different ways. I guess the first thing was what I described, like how he was super charming at first and really love bombed me.
Yeah.
It was almost like he was like a chameleon, like he changed who he was as a person to suit exactly what I needed. Like we instantly connected. It was like when we met, we'd been dating for like 6 months. We just like really easily got along. And like I now know that's not who he is. I will never know who he actually is. He could be anybody. Like I don't know his personality. And he also made like such an effort to like get along with my family and just really like foster what I was wanting. Which is so important. So important for me.
Big green flag.
Yeah. So he did like, he was just this charming person. He also really like hogged conversations and did all those things about like talking about his achievements and how important he is at work and how he does all these great things for his friends and his family. And he would just do them like, because, you know, they're my friends, or I'd give them X amount of money because they're just my friends. That's what I would do.
And like if you're one of those, like if you're a genuinely like good person, which I feel like most people we surround ourselves are, like you don't need to go and promote it, how good you are, because like everyone who knows you is like, oh no, they're just genuinely a good person, or like they do really well at work or things like that. Like you don't need to openly like shout it from the rooftops because people around you already know that or can see it.
Just this like, I guess, super inflated sense of self-importance.
Yeah, and like I think the biggest ick as well is when like people always talk about like how much money they have, and I feel like people with like actual money don't talk about it.
They don't. You wouldn't even know. They're wearing like the oldest shittest t-shirt, a pair of boardies and no shoes.
Literally, it's always the people that are like trying too hard to be like, I make so much money, I'm so rich, and you're like, fucking no one's to hear
I bought this new house and then I bought this new car and like
boring,
mate.
Boring.
Like you don't need to hint all the time about how much money you make.
And unless you're buying me heaps of shit,
then you can do it, babe.
You can talk about it, but don't sit there talking about all your money and then not pay for my shit. Thank you very much.
And I even had these conversations with my brother, and he was like, you know, he would never tell you how much money he made, but he always hinted that he was very well off. And I'm sorry, mate, but you're not that well off. Unless you're making millions, like, come on.
Pretty average.
People make billions and millions and billions and
Unless you're Elon Musk
of money.
I don't want to hear it.
You're, like, obviously you're doing well off than 95% of the world, but in the scheme of things and the way you made it out, like he made it out, it wasn't really that much money. And also, who gives a fuck how much money you make?
No one cares. Human, no one cares.
Yeah. He, another thing that I noticed, I guess, is that he lacked empathy.
I know the story you're going to tell about this, and it's fucking bad.
So, and I actually purposely didn't tell Nicolette this story when it happened because I knew she would be like, babe, it's like, get out.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
So we went out for dinner once, like very early on with his friends, just to like a local restaurant. And it was like probably one of the first couple of times I'd met his friends. So I guess I wasn't super comfortable with them. We were pretty new, so I guess I wasn't super comfortable with him either.
And you're very easy to get along with new people too. So
yeah. I can work a room.
You can work a room.
I'm known to work a room.
All eyes on me.
Oh, thank you. And so we went to this restaurant and his ex-girlfriend was there, right? And she's a babe. Like I've seen pictures from her. She's hot, right? And so I'm feeling a bit uncomfortable. There's people I don't know, the ex-girlfriend's there. And I was like pretty confident in our relationship because that's like a healthy approach.
Look at me.
I'm a hornbag. Anyway, so when we were there, he kind of like didn't really talk to me. He sat on the opposite side of the table from me and I just felt uncomfortable. So when we got home after the fact, I said to him like, just so we're on the same page, like I actually did feel a bit uncomfortable about tonight and this is why. And I told him. And then after I was quite vulnerable with him, and it took me a lot of courage to say that, he like looks at me and goes, "Are you done?" And then turned the TV on and left it.
That makes my skin crawl.
Left it at that.
Not even being like, oh, like, okay. And I feel like once you get into a relationship with someone tells you they're upset about something, even if you're like, oh, fucking hell, shut up. You just go, look, I'm really sorry. Like, how can I help you? Blah, blah, blah. All right, I won't do it again. Even if you don't really mean it, I mean, you should. But if you're just like, oh, I just want to get this over and done with.
You just lie.
Just lie and be like, I hope you're okay. You don't fucking say, are you done? And then go watch TV. Like, that's fucked up.
It was actually pretty fucked up.
And how did that make you feel?
Pretty good. So upset. I wanted to drive home, but I'd had a few drinks, so I couldn't. And I was like, who is this person? Why is that so mean?
Yeah, like hold me and tell me that everything will be okay.
Or just be like, oh, that's not how it was intended.
Literally, it could have been a 2-second conversation.
Yeah, done.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh. And then there was another time when we were like, when we were actually going through the breakup, and I was so upset and hurt because at the time I thought I had fucked up, which I now know I hadn't. I'd actually just tried to communicate healthily in a relationship, but whatever. And I was like sobbing, like ugly girl.
Ugly crying.
Snot fucking coming out.
Not the snot bubble.
The puffy eyes. Yeah. And he did nothing. He looked at me.
That's so weird.
And for me to see anybody, even someone I don't know, I saw a girl crying at the gym once and my heart broke and I went over to her and like gave her a hug.
I know.
Like to see anybody you know
it's
cry.
Human nature to ask if someone's okay.
To care. Yeah. And he didn't give a fuck.
So like lack of empathy for sure.
And I tried to like after that I tried to be like, why didn't you care when I was crying? And he was like, I didn't know what to do. And I was like, what do you mean you didn't know what to do when someone was crying? Are you calling me a narcissist? And at the time I was like,
no.
Well, I didn't say it. I did not say it.
Well, as soon as you brought it up. I also reckon, and like, you know, I just reckon, do you reckon these people grow up with like not much love in their household?
I don't know.
I was like, how do you raise someone to like not care when you're crying? You know what I mean? Like, are they just not raised with anyone caring or like what? Or is it just who they are that they like feel awkward and uncomfortable and don't want to do anything?
I think there's a multitude of reasons why narcissists become narcissist.
Yeah.
I think some of them is like not getting enough love. Some of them is just like maybe their developmental stages were impacted. There's so much to it, which I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not going to try and know.
Google it.
Yeah. Okay, so the fourth thing that I now know is he used to like neg me all the time, like exhibit heaps of negging. And basically negging is like when you purposefully kind of insult someone to kind of boost your own ego and your own like make them feel shitter. So basically he would insult
me.
me.
It's like tall poppy syndrome.
Yeah, but basically he would insult me and I'd be like, oh, okay. And then I'd try and like do more things to impress him because he was never satisfied as what I was doing.
Because you're never going to meet his needs. So you're always like,
like the only way I can think is like, how could you insult your partner? Surely the only way I can see is him like doing it to get me to put him on a higher pedestal.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I'm up here, like I make more money than you. So when you get to my level, like like I can treat you however I want.
Yeah. And it was even down to like how I dressed, my sense of humor, like my music that I listened to.
Sorry, your sense of humor. What?
I know.
Hang on.
I'm fucking hilarious.
Back it up. That's fucked. I was like, I'm personally offended by
when
that.
you insult my sense of humor, you're insulting Nick's sense of humor.
I'm taking that very personally.
And it was even like, so me and Nicolette also have another business together, just a couple of business conglomerates in the house tonight. And it was even like, instead of being supportive about the business, I guess he kind of was, but he one time said to me, oh, you're never going to make any money from that. Oh. Like, just be supportive.
Look, bro, even if we do it for a few years, it doesn't work out, like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying it's not going to, it's already taken off anyway. But, like, keep it to yourself.
And, like, Zach, Nicolette's partner, he is, like, our biggest fan.
He really is.
He's ready to retire now because we're taking off.
Literally.
He wants to be stay-at-home dad.
Play golf, he reckons, stuff the baby to his chest.
Yeah. But I guess, like, that negging just created this, like, really unequal power balance between us.
Yeah.
Okay, one of the biggest things is gaslighting.
Oh, you see this everywhere, but fuck, it's so common.
Yeah.
And obviously gaslighting happens in like any relationships too. It's not just like romantic.
And you can do it without knowing. Like sometimes you can actually gaslight and then be like, oh, fuck, I didn't realize I was even doing that.
Yeah, so it's like a form of manipulation or emotional abuse. So it's like people say things like tell blatant lies, falsely accuse others, like try to distort your reality as well.
Yeah. It's like a hallmark trait of a narcissist.
Yeah.
There's one, so yeah, I guess he was very good. And also with his work, he's very good at like manipulating people and getting what he wants as part of his job.
Is he a real estate agent?
Red flag. So he was very good at like gaslighting and manipulating, but like, and there was a few times where I called him out and I would be like, you are manipulating what I'm saying. The words that I'm saying to you and then you're saying them back, they're not the same thing. They've not got the same meaning. You are changing the intent of my words entirely. And I think when I called him out on that, he did not fucking like that at all.
The only people that get super offended with that are people that like probably know that they're doing it.
Yes, which I think
if you didn't know you're doing it, you'd be like, what the fuck's that? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
How am I, like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Whereas like if you know it, you're like, oh my God, no, I'm not.
Yeah, exactly.
Weird.
How dare you say that I'm manipulating you? That was the response I got. But no, there was this one time where I was feeling a bit like, so in our relationship, he never like once said that he liked me or he loved me or he was into me or I was attractive or anything like that.
That's so weird.
And I don't need compliments. I'm very sure of myself. But in a relationship, it is nice. Like, it's just nice to compliment people.
For sure. Like, it should just be the first thing that comes out of your mouth every time you see them.
Yeah. And so one day I like sat him down. I was like, look, I'm just feeling a little bit upset, I guess, because I feel like I want a little bit more from you. I'm just not sure where I stand and I would like this. And I was like, and all I really need is maybe just like an extra hug every now and then or just to say, I look nice. Just something. Just give me something, mate.
Yeah.
And in that conversation, he somehow, in a very smart way, because he's very intelligent, manipulated the whole thing. And by the end of that conversation, I was apologising profusely for because he sort of said that I didn't like him enough, I wasn't happy with him, that I didn't want to be with him, all these sorts of things, which were so far from the truth. I was like, obviously liked him so much, I was asking for more.
Yeah, seriously.
And so at the end of that conversation, I was apologising. I was so like upset and angry at myself.
So he's like turned it around.
Completely turned the whole scenario around. Instead of a normal scenario where you would say, this is my problem, the other person would be like, okay, I feel you. How can we work on this together?
And like, honestly, even just what we're talking about in the beginning with Love Island, that was so what happened. Like, she was like, this is how you made me feel. And in the end, she was the one apologising to him, being like, oh, okay, well, I guess you didn't mean it that way. I took it the wrong way. And you're like, hang on a second. No, you had a point. And
rewind.
And I wonder if she's watching that back. I wonder if you could watch that back.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
So, and I only realised this a couple of weeks when I was thinking about it. The most fucked up thing happened after this. It wasn't that, I mean, that bit was fucking horrible. But after that, after this conversation where I was apologising and I felt really shit, I just remember him having this real like elated excitement and almost like an aggressive level of excitement. Like he was fucking G'd up.
Weird.
Like we were driving around and he was pumped up and I'd never seen that part of him before. And the only thing I can think of is like in that moment he got what he wanted and he realised that he could do that to me and he was fucking pumped about it.
He knew. He was like, fuck, this is the start.
That's the only way I can describe it. I just remember being in the car and it was like he was on steroids or something, man. It was crazy.
That's
and I was like,
weird.
this is a bit weird. But at the same time, I was feeling like I'd really hurt him. So I was just like, the behaviour was
glad that he was happy.
Well, the behaviour was making me feel uncomfortable, but I didn't say anything. But now I look back and I'm like, it's just like he was really pumped up. He got what he wanted.
Yeah, so weird. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, number 6. There's so many. A biggest thing is that he was right about everything and he could never apologise.
Right.
Ever. And I think I remember telling you sort of like towards the end, nearly when we broke up, that I one day was like, I cannot be with someone that can't take accountability and someone that can't apologise. And
you can't be the one in a relationship always apologising. Like, obviously they're the one that always fucks up, sure, but like in your situation, if you know you haven't done anything wrong, but you're just apologising to keep the peace, not worth it.
Yeah. And like, yeah, so I was always the one apologising. I can't tell you how many times I apologised for stuff.
Did a lot.
He never once said sorry. I don't think that word's even in his vocabulary.
I didn't even think he said thank you when you apologised.
No.
Just like walked off.
He stonewalled me.
Yeah, he did.
So bad, which we'll talk about in a minute. But like even I remember him telling me earlier on that his ex-girlfriend told him that he was gaslighting her. And he told me this and he was like, no, and then I did my research and I definitely wasn't gaslighting her.
So he's already heard it before.
Yes.
So he knows what if you've done it, like if the second girl's telling you that, maybe it's you. Like, I don't think it's suddenly these two girls. It's definitely you.
Yeah. And he'd also told me a separate girl had told him that he was manipulating her. So towards the end of the breakup, I'm going, hang on a second, hang on. I'm saying you have gaslit me. Another person said you gaslit her. Somebody else has said you manipulated her. Common denominator.
Who's the common denominator, bro?
No.
You.
It's not me.
So he just happened to pick 3 super crazy chicks.
Yeah, well, we're all crazy.
We're all crazy.
And I actually had a look back today at some of our text messages during the breakup, and he said things like, I remember in the text message, I was just like, I'm apologizing. Like, I've said sorry. I am sorry. I'm apologizing to you. But I also need you to apologize as well for you, like, take accountability. And he says, I would appreciate your apologies more if it didn't come with a requirement for me to apologize also.
Bro, that's the point of apologizing. It's 2 ways. You go for it. Like, and
in that moment, I was like, say sorry.
And making you go crazy, because then you're like, fuck, am I overreacting? And then you're second guessing everything. And that's like all gaslighting as well. So
yeah, during I guess the actual breakup was fucked up. It was bad. Hey, like I think I probably lost like 10 kilos.
Literally, you were so skinny. Yes. But the fact that he didn't even care either.
He did not care that I was skinny. One day I was trying to take him out for dinner to say sorry for something I hadn't even done. And I had, your pair of skinny jeans that only fit you when you're really skinny.
Yeah, and you don't want to throw them out, but you're like, oh, they'll fit me one day.
Yeah.
I never do.
I could fit into them, but they were actually way too big. So they were high-waisted, but they were sitting at my hips. So they were probably a size 6 sitting at my hips.
That's tiny.
And I remember I was like, I'm just gonna give it a nudge and see if he responds. And so I put them on and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. And he was like, what? And I was like, pulled my pants up and I was like, nothing fits me anymore. And then like dropped them and they slumped down and he, not a word, watched the whole thing and just picked up his phone and kept going.
Jesus.
Crazy.
That is fucking insane.
To not care or, yeah.
But the fact that like they will never be the one to then break it off. So like they know they're having all these fights and all this sort of stuff, but then they're just like, well, I guess that's a stonewalling, right? So then they're just like, whatever.
When we were going through the breakup, I called my sister-in-law and I was like, I'm saying sorry for stuff I haven't done. I'm trying to make it up to him. Like I want to take him out for dinner. I'm doing all these nice things to show that I care and I'm writing him letters and da-da-da-da-da for things that
you don't even know why you're writing them anymore.
I hadn't done anything wrong.
Yeah.
He did not like that I called him out on his behaviour and then he twisted it and said that, I was so hurtful with my words when I said he was manipulating me that he couldn't recover from it.
Fucking hell.
But she was like, and I was describing him like the way I would like say something to him to talk about it.
Yeah.
And he would just like ignore me, just like he stonewalled me. And it was him refusing to communicate back with me, which obviously when you're upset or angry about someone, when someone refuses to communicate back, it makes you more angry.
For sure. It's like the classic, like when you're in a fight and someone's like, you just need to take a breather and then all you do is just fucking erupt because you're like, don't you tell me to calm down when we're in this fight together.
Yes. But it would be like me like saying, well, that's really hurtful. And then it'd be like, oh no, I'd be like, what? When he'd be like, and why is it hurtful? And remember when he used to do that?
Make him explain it.
Yeah, and why? And like,
well, what do you mean by that?
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
What do you mean when I say you can't take accountability? What do you think I mean by that? I mean, you can't take fucking accountability. Yeah. And I guess it all tied in with the full baiting me as well in arguments, baiting me, and then saying like you would just scream at me down the hall and like I'd never raise my voice at him once because like
for sure.
Because I'd done that in a previous relationship and I just thought like I can't do that again. And I guess how it all came like crashing down between us is I kind of realized that some of the behaviors weren't okay. And I started to call him out on them. Yeah. I started to be like, well, you can't take accountability or I need someone that can work on these issues with me. You can't talk to me like that. Like things like that, like actually sticking up for myself. Yeah. And he could not fucking stand it. It was like I was the devil.
Yeah.
I was honestly the devil. And I know that he absolutely fucking hates me because I know he has told his like friends and family
of course.
That I'm just the worst person. And it's even like his ex-girlfriend cheated on him, which is fucking horrible. No one deserves that.
Yeah.
But he hates me more than he hates her.
Yeah.
He does not it's like because she cheated on him, he's got the upper hand. He's the good guy in the scenario, so doesn't really bother him.
Yeah.
He's still the good guy. But with me, I was like, your behaviour is poor and not okay. So I am the worst person here.
And it's probably because he's been called these things before. So, like, you're probably the third person that's done it that he's just like, nah, and like absolutely lost his mind over it. Like,
Yep.
he just cannot handle the fact that another person's calling this and he can't see that he's like that.
Yep. But I tell you what, Nick, when you haven't eaten in about 2 months and when you're that badly gaslit and manipulated, you do some crazy things.
Well, you probably do, yes.
I think I did some crazy, crazy things. But like I had no sustenance. I was so manipulated in my own mind and confused about even like the world around me during this breakup. I was tapped.
Yeah, you're pretty out of it.
I was so tapped.
Yeah. But as well, like it's like someone constantly pushing someone else down and then wondering why they're suddenly going crazy.
Yeah.
And you're like, because you've treated them like shit for the last 3 months. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
then what? Then you finally, after all this.
Well, he thinks he broke up with me.
Okay. Wow.
After he said to me, after all the things you've called me, I just can't look past it.
Wow.
And
there you go.
Yeah. I said, yeah. So that's how
you
it
may have called him a few things, but you know what? Probably
some swear words were used.
Some swear words.
Which I'm not proud about, but it happened.
But now that like, what about now that like the fog is cleared and you realise these things?
I'm so grateful that I had the skills and the knowledge to actually call him out. And,
sure.
And otherwise I would still be with him.
And some people do.
Yeah.
He'll find someone that will stay with him.
Yeah. And I feel sorry for that person because I think they're going to be with him and they're going to be miserable, but they're not going to be able to know why.
Yeah.
And that just sounds like such a horrible thing.
Or they'll never be miserable because they'll never stand up for themselves. So they'll always just be treated poorly.
Yeah.
And won't realise that they're being treated like shit.
And I think that's why he was with his girlfriend before me for so long is she just couldn't realise. And then I think she was like, well, my only option out is to cheat.
Yeah.
Like,
could be.
And that's the only way I can like think of
Yeah.
it. But like, I feel sorry for him because I know like he's never going to be 100% happy or the person that he wants to be.
Yeah.
And he's never going to be able to give someone else what they deserve as well. So I feel a bit like pretty bad for him.
Yeah.
And because he's never going to be fulfilled
But
in
I think
anything.
And as well with these relationships, it's always hard because as someone on the outside of seeing this, I think it's hard to actually notice it because you sort of, they're obviously a different person when they're around their friends.
He was
or
a
your
totally
friends
different
or
person
whatever.
around you and Zach.
Yeah, so then when people then like talk about it, you're like, oh, and you're like, oh wow, really? Like I'm surprised they said that, or you're kind of shocked to hear it, which is how like they can kind of get away with it because
and how his friends and family would have no idea about the person he is.
He doesn't treat his friends and family like that, which is then why all these ex-girlfriends or whoever it is gets labelled like the crazy person because everyone's like, well, he's so normal and would never do those things.
Yeah.
She must be batshit crazy because they don't see it that way.
And you know what? I'll let him call me batshit crazy. That's like heaps better than being with him. So I'll take it. I'll take it. But I guess if anyone is listening that feels like maybe they're with someone that's exhibiting some of these signs, I guess some things like if you do want to break up with them and you don't like have to, but if it's a thing that you want to do, I guess just always like reminding yourself you deserve heaps better, hey.
If you're not happy in your relationship, leave.
If someone is treating you like shit, you deserve so much better.
Yeah, and if this rings a bell, some of the things we've spoken about, maybe just go chat to someone about it. You don't have to leave them straight away.
Yeah.
Maybe go talk to a therapist or, nothing wrong with seeing a therapist. Every man and his dog sees a therapist these days. It's great. Chat about your feelings. Talk about it. Get some advice.
And even like talk to your friends. Like I came to Nick at one stage and I was like, what do I do? Like
I was like, fucking leave.
I was like, give me the hard truth. Like don't tell me what I want to hear.
Yeah.
And she was like, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Get out. Leave.
Because you could see the change in your friends too. So if your friend's going through this, you don't have to be like, wow, your partner's shit, leave them. But be like, hey, is everything going okay? Like, why don't you, maybe try this? Is everything all right at home? Like, how can I help? Is everything all right in your relationship? Sort of set, bait them to see what they say.
Yeah.
And then
use that narcissistic skill of baiting.
On your friends.
Yeah. That's healthy.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's my story. I did date a suspected narcissist. I just hope that no other girl he does it. I hope he doesn't. I hope he learns and doesn't do this again to somebody else because it's horrible and not nice. But I don't think he will. So,
there we go.
Make me crazy. I will go crazy and I'll talk about it in a podcast. But yeah, like honestly, since leaving, I'm like, so much happier.
You're a whole new woman.
Whole new woman.
There you go.
I'm back, baby.
Who's back? Don't settle for less.
Nope.
Settle for more than you're worth.
Yeah. Right. That's all we have time for today. We are still releasing our podcast weekly. I think we're almost coming to the end of season 1.
We might be.
Potentially. We don't know. We
We
haven't
might
got a
have a few
plan.
bonus episodes in there because we don't plan anything. So you know what? Fuck it. We'll do what we want.
So we just keep talking about the ins and outs of dating, actually mostly my dating life.
And we have had a few questions lately, so maybe we can even do a fun episode about that.
Yes.
Questions from all the fans out there, mostly our TikTok fans. Big shout out to the TikTok fame out there.
Hello. And the
We're
Sydney
huge.
listeners, all of the Sydney listeners.
Yeah.
You're our biggest listeners at
You
the
are.
moment. So
We got
thank
the
you.
stats. We can see it.
Yeah. And again, please, Dan, don't come for me. I am scared of you.
Nah, all right. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Dayfacto, where we post cool stuff in general. See you next time.
Over and out.